Alright, so if we go back a generation, PS3, Xbox 360, in my opinion, Call of Duty was in its golden age, and it was a far superior franchise than Battlefield was. Battlefield had some good games. You had Battlefield, Bad Company 2, 1943, Battlefield 3, and Battlefield 4, but that was carried back onto PS4, so we're just going to count Battlefield 4 and Call of Duty Ghosts on the PS4 and Xbox One. But that all being said, man, let's get up into this, and we're comparing Battlefield 4 to Call of Duty Ghosts and Advanced Warfare. Battlefield games usually stick around for 2 years until the next Battlefield game comes out. Obviously a 2-year development cycle, because DICE is the sole developer of Battlefield, while Call of Duty has a bunch of developers. They have 3 on team now, so they can do annual releases. But let's compare Ghosts to Battlefield 4 real quick. Alright, Ghosts had a terrible launch. Let's be real. All of the base maps in Ghosts are really bad. Okay? I do not like the base maps in Ghosts. You have Stonehenge, which takes, eternity to see somebody and stuff like that. And positives of Ghosts are the hit detection. The hit detection is great. The gunplay is great. The time to kill is great. It's very, very fluid, but Ghosts didn't really innovate much. The kill streaks were really, really bad. They had some of the worst kill streaks in Call of Duty history. They removed a UAV, which is really, really dumb. But the main sin of COD Ghosts is the map design. The map design is really, really bad. Nobody liked the map design. The DLC for COD Ghosts was great, but we're just talking about base game right now. The DLC was good. You had the wacky, like, Michael Myers DLC, and you could be the Predator and stuff like that. So the DLC was cool, but I don't know, man. It has some positives, and it's aged like fine wine. Knowing what Call of Duty is now, it's not as bad as a game. Just a very, very average showing for the Call of Duty series. Then we go on Battlefield 4. And this is where Battlefield took the crown from COD as the best first-person shooter on the market, in my opinion. Battlefield 4 felt so much different than Battlefield 3. It was so much grander, and the customization was better. I know they added loot boxes, and that was kind of shitty of them to do. But the customization was better. I liked the gunplay more. There really wasn't any overpowered shit, like the shotgun. I forgot what it was, but I always talk about it. There was a shotgun in Battlefield 3 that was a fucking sniper rifle. And you had the master key attachment too in Battlefield 3. That was a problem. But there really was none of that in Battlefield 4. The maps were great. The add-ons were even better than Call of Duty Ghosts. You even had like a fucking prequel to Battlefield 2142 with like the last DLC they released for the game. And it seriously kicked ass, man. Battlefield 4 is one of my all-time favorite games. I still play it on the channel and upload it regularly. That's just how awesome it is. You have the Siege of Shanghai, which is a great map. The one in like the tropical islands, that's a great map. You have great stuff like that. And the hit detection is fine, it's great. The customization is great. Winner of this is obviously Battlefield 4. But then you have Advanced Warfare, which is Battlefield 4's second competitor. Advanced Warfare is the worst Call of Duty game ever released. I'm sorry. It had variants, the map sucked. I hated the graphics for some reason. They just looked very grainy and really, like, shitty for some reason. It looked like they tried to be hyper-realistic, and I just didn't like the grainy look of the game. And compare that to Battlefield 4's. The graphics aren't, like, amazing, but they're not as good as COD Ghost. COD Ghost had better graphics than Battlefield 4, but COD Ghost is very, like, glossy. It legit seemed like everything was, like, just wiped down with a fucking Windex. It was so glossy. But Battlefield 4 had a very, like, realistic, like, kind of dark, but light. Very, really light game. Battlefield 4 is very, very light, and that's compared to this other games. But, yeah. I hated the graphics in Advanced Warfare. I hated the variants. And this is when loot boxes really became a big thing in COD. And I completely hated it. I hated the loot boxes. The hit detection is alright. The kill streaks were terrible. Even though Sledgehammer does have some good ideas like the customizable kill streaks, but that just means the base kill streaks are shit. What I legit hate about the variants, when I talk about this in my Infinite Warfare video, is that they make the base guns and the base items garbage. So you need the variants and you need to buy the supply drops. And that's a big reason why I just didn't like Advanced Warfare. And I only played it for like a week and I stopped playing it. And I hated the jetpacks. It was just so annoying. It wasn't grounded in reality and it just did not feel like COD. And you compare that to Battlefield 4, which is basically just an upgraded version of Battlefield 3. There really isn't that much innovation, but it didn't stray off the course so much where it just didn't feel like garbage, like Advanced Warfare. Ghosts, I'll give like a 5 out of 10. Battlefield 4, I'll give it like an 8 out of 10. And Advanced Warfare, I'll give it like a 0 out of 10. That game is trash. And then, following AW, comes Black Ops 3, coming off the heels of the worst Call of Duty game of all time. And Black Ops 3 is a great Call of Duty. Okay, the loot box system is absolute garbage, and I hated it. But the time to kill is great. I usually like Treyarch's time to kill better than Infinity Ward's, just because you have a little bit more health and you just don't die so quickly. And I love the kill streaks in Black Ops 3. The kill streaks are awesome. The raps and all that cool stuff. Dark Matter, who remembers the grind for that? That shit was dope. Man of War, dope guns like that. You had guns locked behind supply drops, which is a negative. The way better advanced movements, which just thrusters instead of fucking jetpacks, which makes it better. Zombies obviously makes it better. Black Ops 3 is a huge upgrade on the advanced movement system, and you have wall running, which is great. You can actually wall bang, unlike in Advanced Warfare, where all the guns can barely shoot through walls. But in this game, you can shoot through walls, and there really isn't that many balance issues. Like the BAL-27 was so fucking overpowered. You don't really have that in Black Ops 3. Yeah, you have good guns. I remember the Razorback used to be a beast, and you had the cool Specialist, which was a great take. They weren't overpowered like they are in Black Ops 4, but you know, they're cool and they're not useless like in Infinite Warfare. But they're balanced, they add a nice little twist to the gameplay, they make the advanced movement a little bit more interesting, and Treyarch had them wacky-ass camos, which I really liked that they introduced in Black Ops 2, and they kept the train rolling with Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3 was a solid game, but then Battlefield takes the L with Battlefield L-Line. Garbage game. Battlefield, it's basically a shitty version of GTA. Imagine a garbage version of GTA. The game looks like Ride Along 2. It legit reminds me of Ride Along 2. If you've seen Ride Along 2 and you watch and you play Battlefield Hardline, you're like, this is the same shit. It's very over the top. The difference is Ride Along 2 is a fucking comedy. And this isn't meant to be taken seriously. Yeah, I did not really like Battlefield Hardline. It was more of an expansion pack on Battlefield 4 because Battlefield 1 was still in development. And Battlefield 1 innovated a lot, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But Battlefield Hardline was just such a garbage game. Honestly, I played it for like a day or two. And I know it kind of had like the Counter-Strike action, like the heist thing where you had to defend the guy and all that. Like, that was cool, but it wasn't enough to keep me around. The campaign was fucking ridiculous. But yeah, I just hated Battlefield Hardline. The winner of this matchup is definitely Black Ops 3, 100%. And then we jump into Infinite Warfare and COD World War II versus one and only Battlefield 1. And this is where Battlefield steps it up. They innovate a lot from Battlefield 4. The Frostbite engine looks way better. The Battlefield 1, if you look at the game now, look at this map. This map still looks beautiful. It still looks amazing. It looks like real life. This engine in Battlefield is so good, and the graphics are so breathtaking in Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5. The environments are dope, and I love the environment, how you can destroy shit. It felt more dynamic in this one than in previous ones, because I remember they introduced that in Bad Company, where you could destroy it all the buildings and stuff. Like, it was cool then, but it kind of looked like shit because that game is super old. But now it looks great. I really like it. The customization is not touched, but it's fixed a little bit. They add like war bonds and stuff like that where you can buy the weapons and challenges to unlock the weapons. And the class system is more streamlined as opposed to in Battlefield 4. In Battlefield 4, like, you had assault, you could do carbine, assault rifle, marksman rifle, shit like that. And this is kind of, medic has rifles, submachine guns go to assault, LMGs and MMGs go to support, and sniper rifles and marksman rifles go to scout. And medic had the assault rifles, the early prototype assault rifles. And I just thought the scenario was the time period was very, very unique, because there really wasn't any like World War I video games around at the time. Like, I know it's not a very accurate World War I video game, and if you want an accurate World War I video game, you go to Verdun. But this game is still great. You know, the graphics are amazing. It does make you feel like you're in World War I sometimes. Like, when you're fighting in the trenches, like you see in the gameplay here, it's a lot of fun, man. I still have a lot of fun. Conquest is dope. You know, the tanks aren't really accurate. It's not a very historically accurate game. Let's be real here, because tanks sucked ass in World War I. You know, a lot of the automatic guns are prototypes, and especially like the assault rifles, so they're not really like in real. But they had to do it, you know, just to keep people around and to make it a little bit more engaging than sitting in a trench and firing across a muddy fucking no man's land. I honestly had a great time with Battlefield 1, though. You had the bayonet charge, the addition of front lines, the operations mode, which is awesome. You could just see the innovation and the giant leap that Battlefield 4 to Battlefield 1 is. It's a completely different game. They look so much more different. Textures are better. The gameplay is way more better and fluid. I love the customization more. You know, you don't have like the wacky camos and stuff as you did in, not wacky camos, but the camo customization as you did in Battlefield 4. I think the class system is a little bit less customizable, but that's not a really big issue, because I like the way that more classes had a better role in the squad than as they did in Battlefield 4. Because Battlefield 4, nobody really was in the squad. You kind of just like, it felt more like a Call of Duty game. And as compared to this one, where it's really about teamwork, people revive people, you know, you can heal people, and more of the classes have more of a defined role than just kind of being in fucking one-man army, you know? Here, they have a very defined role. And I love the gameplay. The gameplay is awesome. It still holds up. Battlefield 1 is a 10 out of 10. Oh shit, I forgot to give rankings for the other games. Black Ops 3 is like a 6.5, 7 out of 10. And Battlefield Hardline is like a 3 out of 10. But yeah, Battlefield 1 is a 10 out of 10. And there's competitor Infinite Warfare. I was watching a video, and it's right. He's right about it. It is a boring version of Black Ops 3. It really is. You have the same thrust jump. You have the same thrust jump mechanics, slide mechanics. Zombies feels very uninspired, but I like the kind of wackiness and tongue-in-cheek tone they have with zombies in this game. But it's not as dynamic and not as interesting. It doesn't hold my attention as much as Treyarch's zombie offering, but it's okay, you know. The customization is whatever. The introduction of mission teams is cool. The specialists in this game are completely useless and have really, really dumb abilities. They may not even be in the game. There's not even game changing. They're just useless. They're fucking useless. That's how I feel. And the AW variant system is in this game, and Infinite Warfare, which I fucking hated. I hated the variant system, and even though the supply drop mechanic is better in this one because you can buy it with the keys, and that is the in-game currency you get for grinding it out, it's just not the same, you know? I feel like the hit detection is sometimes off in this game, in Infinite Warfare, and the multiplayer feels very uninspired and a carbon cutout of Black Ops 3 with just different weapons. And they add the classic weapons just to keep the old fans happy. But no, and they add Modern Warfare Remaster because this game was going to tank if they didn't. In Modern Warfare Remaster, I don't really want to compare it because it's not really a new game. It's just a remaster. There's no new mechanics, nothing new added, stuff like that, except for microtransactions. But fuck that, it's different. That's another topic for another video. But Infinite Warfare on its own is just a very uninspired, no innovation. And that's my main problem with Call of Duty nowadays. There's no innovation. There's barely any. Unless it's a microtransaction system. I mean, there's some that innovate, like Black Ops 4 is Black Ops 4 and Black Ops 3 are probably the biggest innovators in the library of the games that we have on PS4 for Call of Duty. But other than that, I don't think so. That there's not really that many innovations in COD compared to Battlefield. But I give Infinite Warfare like a 3.5, 4 out of 10. And I hated the time period. It just wasn't very good. I'm not a big fan of jetpacks, as you can already tell. And then we go to COD World War II. COD World War II, in my opinion, hasn't aged the best. I've played it a couple times, and it just feels a little bit boring sometimes. I played like 3 or 4 games, and I'm like, alright, I'm kind of bored. Maybe because I played the shit out of it when it came out, and it is my favorite Call of Duty on the PlayStation 4. I like the hit detection. The gunplay feels... The gunplay feels very, very smooth. I love the gunplay. Sledgehammer always gets gunplay right. But it just felt like Sledgehammer didn't want to make a World War II game. Because, like Ghost, the launch was shit. They didn't have any content at launch. And that was a big problem. I just didn't like that at all. But they added content with the events. I really enjoyed the events, even though the weapons were locked behind supply drops. But the weapons weren't too hard to get if you really grinded out the game. But nevertheless, I feel like it would be better if you could just win or earn the weapons through challenges. And they even did that. Like, I remember later on in the game, they added special orders. If you played a certain number of multiplayer maps, you could get the DLC weapons. They weren't the cool variants with, like, the Frost camo, like the Gear and stuff like that. But they were just an easy way to get it if you just wanted to not grind out the currency to buy the whole collection. You could just play a couple multiplayer matches and get it. I really like that. The supply drop system in here wasn't so scammy as it was in Black Ops 3, which has the worst supply drop system in Call of Duty history. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a pretty good offering for Call of Duty. Love the gunplay. The maps are a little bit uninspired, just 3-lane garbage. And I hate how they didn't add any other factions except for the US and Germany. Well, they did on the Allies, but it was very lazy. It was just cosmetically, and I hated that. And there was no cosmetics for the Axis side, so that was also kind of lazy. Call of Duty World War II was, in my opinion, it was a good game, but just wasted potential. I give Call of Duty World War II like a 7 or 6.8 out of 10. I enjoyed it. I really did. I liked it for what it was, but it was kind of a poor man's version of World at War. Let's be real. And the gore effects are garbage. And now we get to present day. And present day is Black Ops 4 and Battlefield 5. You guys already know how I feel on Battlefield 5 and Black Ops 4. So I'm going to save you some time, because these games have not lived out their life cycle yet, so we can't really stack them up one by one. Black Ops 4 is almost done with its life cycle, with the new COD going to be announced. So I'll give Black Ops 4 a 6 out of 10. Very average. I hate specialists. Specialists are annoying. I hate the Black Ops pass. The Black Ops pass is annoying, but I do like the manual healing. Manual healing is great and one of the best innovations COD has had in a long time. Manual healing is the way to go. Way to go, Treyarch. You did it. The addition of Battle Royale, flop. Zombies and removing Juggernog, flop. The original maps are 3-lane garbage, flop. 150 health instead of 100 health, flop. But I understand why they did that for the manual healing. But yeah, I enjoy the manual healing, that's it. The gunplay is alright. There's no cool connection to the guns though. That's a problem I have with Black Ops 4. I remember in most Call of Duties, you have a connection to one gun that you really love, and everybody's favorite gun used to be different. I remember that. In World at War, yeah, the MP40 was probably the strongest gun in the game, but it wasn't everybody's favorite. Same thing with COD 4, the M16. Not everybody's favorite, but obviously the strongest gun in the game. You had so much variety in the weapons and the way they work, and everybody had a different one. In Call of Duty Black Ops, the customization is terrible. You know, the Black Ops 4 customization, the perks are completely useless. Nobody uses grenades, because why would you do that when you have overpowered specialist abilities, and you have specialist weapons that are, they're cool, they're not the big problem. I feel like the big problem is the specialist abilities, like the barricade, or the seeker mine, stuff like that. That's a big problem. And yeah, every gun has their own little attachments and stuff, but that's not the way to do it. You know, some guns should be able to have a suppressor on them, and some shouldn't. That's stupid. That's like the old division system in World War II, and people outraged about that. So the Pick-10 system is basically a bootleg version of the Pick-10 system in Black Ops 2. And then you get to Battlefield 5. You have the Tides of... Oh yeah, not done with Black Ops 4 yet. The Battle Pass is shit. You have to grind it so hard, and nobody has time for that bullshit. And Blackout is fucking garbage. But now, we go on to Battlefield 5. 10 out of 10, by the way. Easily better than Black Ops 4. Have a lot more fun with it. Not only is it get free content, in the Black Ops Pass you paid $50, and you only get 4 maps. Us Battlefield players haven't paid shit, so we're not really losing out on much that our wallets are concerned on. The gunplay is great. The manual healing is great because you can't just spam it. You have to play kind of tactically. The gunplay is great. We get free guns that aren't locked behind bullshit and have to pay for it. We can easily grind it through the challenges and get it in a matter of 2 hours. There we go. We have the new gun. And yeah, the one thing I do have a problem with is Firestorm delayed the game so much that they're gonna have to kind of pump out maps quickly in order to get throughout the whole course of the war. And I hope they add all the factions. If not, then my vote might be a little bit different. I might have to put it down to like a 9 out of 10. But right now it's standing at a 10 out of 10, and I really, really love Battlefield 5. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, leave a like. And if you're new around here, subscribe. And this is your boy Cameron. I'm out.